Okay, so as you saw in the video, Portugal took radical measures to stop the drug issue in their country. They legalize all kind of drugs. So let me ask you guys, do you think legalizing all kind of drug is the right approach to stop the war on drugs? What do you think, Roxme, if I may start with you?
Um, could could you like repeat the question again? Like
If if
to
if you if you think the legalizing all drugs like Portugal did is the right approach to stop
hmm
war on drugs, to stop the the issue with drugs, the killings between cartels, the arrest, the deaths due to the drug abuse, etc. Do you think is the right approach?
I personally like I don't think it's the right approach to that because people um who use the drug is like the victims rather than put them like something like that.
Okay. Nayan, well, what do you think uh, about that strategy Portugal had on drugs? Do you think is the right approach, or do you think there is any other kind of strategy countries should be using to
I am pro to legalizing drugs because legalizing drug would be the best way to destroy the black market and dramatically can reduce crime rates worldwide. So I think legalizing drugs is like best way to solve this kind of problem.
okay,
Yes.
so you think it's a right approach to legalize all kind of drugs?
I guess for now, before I hear
Okay.
others.
Uh,
I
uh,
have,
okay, Zihi, what is your
uh,
opinion?
I think it's very different. There's a difference between legalizing and decriminalizing, right? Because decriminalizing means that, well, in the case of Portugal, it means that they legalize the consuming of drugs, but still owning and selling it's the illegal thing. So it's not like they wanna promote the use of drugs, but somehow um regulate it somehow, like control the drug situation somehow. But I am against legalizing drugs because um, I don't think it will create any good society. I think as humans, as it's in our biology to be addicted to some kind of like substances. So I don't know like how it will lead us to a better society, but I am in favor of decriminalizing some, like for example like drugs, because sometimes it's just an addiction, right? Like, and you cannot help yourself but to how do you say, to you're like addicted to it, so you just like you're living on this drug, right? So I guess if the governments are not just decriminalizing but also helping somehow like these addict addicted
Addiction,
people
yeah.
to,
And
yeah,
you
so I
you
think
raise a very good point, and yeah, it's not the same to legalize or decriminalize the use. Yeah, what happened in Portugal is it's right. It was okay to carry all kind of drugs. It means it's still maybe forbidden to import it or use it in the public space. We don't know. The video doesn't show that specific information, but yeah, it was okay to carry any kind of drugs. Um, so it you raise a good point there, and let me ask you then, since you say the people might be addicted to to all certain kind of things. So do you think alcohol serves also the role of a drug, and for example, in Korea, the drugs are completely restricted, even though, of course, should be a black market, and there are people that are addicted to drugs. But do you think alcohol is filling that specific role in the society as like also getting some issues with the alcohol abuse and addiction?
I do think in Korea, like they restrict all the drugs, so strict for that lead people to use alcohol to release their their stress. Actually, as you know, in Korea, like they have the the highest rate of suicide. I think it's because of like people live in the very stressful environment without any way to relax their stress. I do not like encourage using drugs, but like there are many levels of it, right? Like we do, some people do not like drinking. When in US, like where some state where the marijuana or they can be legal to use in medical or the other purpose. I don't, and even is less be addicted than the cigarette. So for me, like if the some countries is way too strictly restrict on drugs is to give the side effect on their social, raising some the other social like problems.
Yeah, that's true. The drugs and any other kind of like drugs and substances are related to any other social issues. So yeah, I was asking you, Jihi, so do you think alcohol is replacing drugs in Korea since it's quite restricted here?
I I feel I guess in order to talk about this, it's also important to mention that there are some drugs that are illegal now that could maybe have less effects than alcohol, I feel. And but so maybe some drugs, there's like a social, like it's been for hundreds of years that, or for decades that we have criminalized like the use of like some drugs. It's okay, and the use of some are not okay. So I guess it really depends on society, and I don't know where I'm trying to get, but I guess the abuse of anything. I think that's the point. I think even though like alcohol is legalized and tobacco is legalized, in extreme, when it's taken into greater amounts, I think that's when the problem, like where the problem lies, because I don't see how alcohol could bring just bad things to society. I think it releases some stress, as Han was saying, like some stress that we have, or just as a what, I don't know the word, but like a way of as an entertaining thing. Yeah.
I can see.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I answered your question.
No, yeah, true. And I would like also to raise another point of discussion, because the drug issue, I mean, we have been approaching the drugs with different kind of strategies. We see in some countries, they like Korea and most of the Asian countries, they have very strict drug policy in effect. But it's still some other countries like the United States and many others, they still have people dying from the drug abuse. I mean, it's happening all around the world, and there is and I mean the strategy itself is not working. We see the numbers increasing and increasing, and people is dying, but not only in the consumer countries, but the countries that produce the drug itself, they have also their own issues. So do you think all the drug issues should be reconsidered? What should we do with the producing countries? For example, in Latin America, Colombia, we produce like huge amount of cocaine, which is basically exported to the States and Europe. So what should we do with in this situation? We should also decriminalize the production. We should legalize it, or how will be the right approach for the producing countries? Raxman, what do you think about that? Or Nayam?
Um, that's like a hard question actually, but I do think like one um still like should be legalized, but at the same time taxes should be raised like higher in order to like put pressures on the consumers and especially the suppliers. So I think that's like a natural, like it's not a kind of natural, but it's a kind of like provide tax to the country itself as well.
So do you
But
think we can change a little bit the perception of drug production and be part of the national production of a country?
yeah.
Okay. Do you want to add something, Nayan?
Yes, I think it's more like more important to have laws regulate for people abusing drugs, because there are benefits from legalizing drug, such as, like as I mentioned, drug trafficking level is greatly reduced from legalizing drugs. So it is more important to have laws to regulate the bad peoples or from abusing this. What do you think? Is there, because I'm not sure, like what about the economy, the Portuguese economy after legalizing drug? Did it get better or did it get worse, or what do you think? Or do you have
They
any?
solve part of the issue. We don't have information about that. They just solved the issue. They had the police getting around the people using drugs, and instead of getting that money out of arresting people for using drugs, they use it to actually treat them and manage the like the drug abusers in the sense. But
Because I was thinking,
since we are running out
yeah.
of time, I see he has a last comment, and then we will end up the discussion.
Yes, as you mentioned, in like many Latin American countries where there's like drug production is so big. In Mexico, to be honest, there's many jobs that are held. I mean, there are many families that are fed thanks to the drug cartels and the drug production, right? So I think like maybe the government's making a way for these people to find like other ways of like of sustaining themselves will be better than just like just putting all that money to like what's it to to
Yeah, I see your point. Like, yeah, definitely the drug production, the drug, let's say, economy. It's a way of moving the other country's economy. So no, just to wrap up, and thank you all of you for your comments. Is I can see of course we cannot agree on the one specific strategy. We definitely see that there are so many issues still that have to be considered. But yeah, thank you all.
It's very interesting